All right. Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so excited to have you here. We are going to dive right into your reading. I like to begin my readings by saying thank you to those of you who regularly show up and watch my readings, for those of you who regularly comment, like, share, who have subscribed. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the ways that you support my channel. I am so, so grateful. All right, if you're new here, well, I'd like to extend a big welcome. So welcome, welcome. I'm very happy to have you here. Just keep in mind, these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? So here we go. For Pisces, please, Spirit, for Pisces. Okay, that is just out of control. Let me just shuffle the deck. Let's get a hold of ourselves today. We dropped in temperature like more than we dropped in temperature over the whole year this morning. I don't know. It was pretty crazy. It's nice. It's just very cool. Okay, for Pisces. All right. You're getting love makes the difference. Love helps heal past hurts and provides a sense of security and self-worth. And then you have the heart of the matter. There is more going on than meets the eye. Pisces, Lord. I keep getting this feeling you got love coming in. For some of you, this may be a past person who's finally heeding the call of this relationship. They may be coming towards you. And with this, it says love heals past hurts. If there is a past person coming back, I do feel that it is someone who they may think there is no point in coming back, or that they really don't stand a chance. But there's something here about, like coming in a loving energy or in a different energy than they've come in before. That may, I just feel a focus on that of like, okay, I'm going to try something I've never done before, or I'm going to, like, I have to break it down to a very vulnerable place in order just to be kind of heard or taken seriously this time. This may not be the first time this person's come back. If we're dealing with a new person, this is one of those things where, when you meet the right person, you understand why everybody else was wrong. I definitely dated someone before my husband, and I really thought he was the end all be all. I thought, that we would get married and all these things. And oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times I've thought, thank God that didn't work out. Like, holy moly. Not only because my husband is just an amazing guy, but because I know so much more about life and about what you go through in life, and where that partnership really was very weak and very fragile. I don't think it would have withstood life, and so it's almost giving me this vibe of like, when things do work out, when things come around, when the right person shows up in your life, it's like it can become so clear why other things didn't work, or why you needed to learn the lesson of those past connections in order to really be fully present and appreciative of what is in front of you. Also, okay, I don't know why this happened. I have no idea why this happened, but like yesterday, YouTube, in my feed of YouTube, I started getting all of these videos of like, I'm 50, I've never been married, I have no kids, I have no friends. I'm 50, I'm in Japan, I have no friends, my wife left me, I'm like all of these lonely men videos, and I watched a couple of them because at first I just ignored them because I don't know. But then when you start to see that many of the same kind of thing that is unusual for you to see, like I didn't even know that was an entire genre of YouTube channel. I started watching them, and man, there's just what I actually saw, what I actually felt, what actually got me intuitively when I was watching them. It was something that really hurt my heart. You know, especially with men, we kind of tell them they're not allowed to feel their feelings. Feelings are for sissies. You know, they have to push it down. They have to be the strong ones. They have to be all of these things. There's just a real strong expectation put on men. And then we wonder why they don't emote. They are blocked emotionally. It's like, well, that is how they've been programmed, you know, and I just saw a lot of that. And like, just knowing what I know and understanding, like, just the human experience, the way that I understand it, with all of us having divine masculine and divine feminine energy within us, you know, and how the important role that it plays in being, and how important it is to really keep it balanced within ourselves. And I look at these men and I just see them being so imbalanced with their feminine energy. And it just breaks my heart, because it's like they never really actually had a chance, you know? They were just so programmed. And so even if you grow up in a family where it's okay to feel feelings as a guy, you don't go to school in a place where it's okay to feel feelings, you know? There's just so many people there that are going to tell you, like, oh my God, you're crying, you know, like immediately. You know, I raised a son, and it's kind of heartbreaking. And just watching that, it's like the feminine energy within those masculines is just not flowing freely. And, you know, they feel so victimized by the woman, and they were saying some of them were saying such awful things about women and about who women are. And in the comments, it was like 100% women are awful. And it's like, oh my gosh, how are we going to come together? How are we going to learn to love each other? How are we going to, you know, you've got to be able to trust. You've got to be able to take risks. You've got to like, to be in a relationship. It's so hard. And when I just saw all of that energy out there, it literally broke my heart. And so with this energy on the bottom of the deck, to bring this back to your reading, which I feel like it's possible some of you have been single for a while. I do have 20% men watch my channel. You have this love makes the difference. And, you know, in some way, just by the nature of being human and having masculine and feminine energy within us, all of us, it seems that we do have the ability to connect and to understand each other, and to understand what drives those energies, and to understand how to kind of bring them together. You know, masculine and feminine energy are called Ida and Pingali, and they go up the spine like this, you know, like on the caduceus, and they cross over each other. And when those energies reach our crown chakra, that is the experience of bliss. And so to me, that is nature's way of proving that, like, it is worth it. It is worth it to take the risk. It is worth it to try to find the harmony and try to find the balance, because it can take us to a very high place, right, within ourselves. And so if it can do that within ourselves, then external to us, figuring out the same can also take us to really high places that are worth experiencing, you know. I'm sure they can also take us to very low places, right? But I don't know. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to go within and to figure out, you know, if you are a masculine who's feeling these kinds of ways and is, you know, even feeling the victim of women, and if you're a woman who's feeling the victim of men, you know, heal those parts. There is like this healing energy here with the heart of the matter. And it says there is more going on here than meets the eye, which leads me to believe that there is something happening in the collective consciousness that will ultimately give us an opportunity to really come back together. But I don't know. We'll see. If you have opinions on it, drop it in the comments. I just didn't know that whole genre existed or was even a thing. And wow. And then it was like I was talking to my husband about it. And he was like, well, naming his friends that have never been married and don't have kids. And, you know, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's so true. Oh my gosh, you guys. I just, really with the cards. Okay, remember how I was just explaining to you Ida and Pengali and how the energy weaves up the spinal cord to the crown chakra and releases that bliss energy, and how if that happens within each of us, right? When we balance our energies, there's a lot happening there. We also have bandhas that keep that energy. If that energy was always traveling up our spine, we would always be in a bliss state and there would be no purpose of life. So we have these things called bandhas that are kind of spaces that intentionally hold the energy down. So we have to actually work to release them. But you can release them through yoga, Kundalini yoga. Some breathing energies where you focus on each energy, the masculine and the feminine. There's an opportunity for romance here. I mean, Pisces, you keep getting this energy. And it's saying, and plus just what I'm tapping into, what I'm talking about, and then the card that is coming out, it feels like it feels a little challenging, right? Because it is kind of requiring some level of trust or some level of making yourself vulnerable. But it is an opportunity, and it feels like spirit just is like, I feel this energy of just wanting to encourage to like open up to receive it. With the communicate clearly card, I think one of the most valuable things that we can really truly understand when we're in a relationship with another person is that no one is a mind reader. They're just not. And even if they were a mind reader, they would not be tapping into reading your mind 24/7. That would just be exhausting, you know? So we have to be willing to say something. You know, we all, this is where it gets really muddy with just how we're programmed by society, right? Because we don't want to be labeled as crazy. We don't want to be labeled as having too many issues. We don't want to be labeled as needy. We don't want to be labeled as clingy. We don't want to be labeled as anything, right? But if you're in a connection with someone who is truly seeking to have a strong and stable, healthy relationship with you, you know, over the course of time, hopefully you're building. I literally, if it's a thought that pops into my head, man, I pretty much tell my husband. We pretty much talk about like everything. You know, I don't feel like I have to censor myself at all in any way. And that's just what I'm feeling with this communicate clearly. It's kind of like, you know, especially if you feel that you're starting to get triggered, or especially if you feel that your partner is starting to get triggered, or especially like if you feel like something's a little bit different or there's an energetic shift or something and it's affecting you. This isn't about looking for things and creating problems that don't exist. This isn't about, you know, the Seven of Cups energy where it's like, well, this could go wrong, that could go wrong, that could go wrong. So let's just talk about all these things. That's not what it is. This is like, you know, sometimes when it takes you 3 hours to respond to me on text, I start to worry and I start to think of like, you know, maybe you're not going to respond. And I know that that is probably just from my past relationships, but it does kind of worry me, you know, and it's something that, you know, in time, the more and more comfortable you feel in the relationship, the less it's going to bother you, the more you're going to be able to relax and say, oh, well, sometimes that happens, you know what I mean? But I know that this person is committed, or I know this person is going to show up. But until you have that time to build that kind of experience, it seems like, you know, it's okay if maybe you need a little bit more reassurance. Like if we don't ask for what we need, we can't expect someone just to give it to us. And that is what I'm feeling here. This is the real Two of Cups opportunity, I feel like. And I feel like Spirit is saying, remain positive and open up to the opportunity that is coming in. What is this romance, please? Okay, you have this romance being clarified by rejection, nourish, boundaries, and distracted on the bottom of the deck. You know, the impression that I'm really getting here is we all are coming to the table with some baggage. We're all having some issues. You know, we've all kind of been through the ringer a bit. We've all felt, I feel like, that harsh sting of rejection or being abandoned or being let down or being misled or being deceived or, you know, having someone just not turn out to be who they are or who we thought they were. That doesn't mean that everybody is like that. That doesn't mean that every relationship is like that. And I feel with this boundaries energy, what is really coming through here is, you know, one of the biggest mistakes that we make in relationships, or at least what I think from what I've seen and just having friends and having them be in relationships, especially it's the ones that really move very quickly. You know, it is exciting and you do really, you know, when you're feeling something and you're excited and you really want something to work out, it's really easy to just sort of be like, I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I'm going all in on this. You know, it's either going to work out or I'm going to die trying kind of energy. But usually, you know, I don't want to say usually, I don't like making stereotype statements like that, but it does seem that a lot of those relationships end up being the codependent narcissist relationship, right? You know, the narcissist is going to love bomb you and be, you know, who you want, who they feel you are hoping for. And it's going to be perfect and everything about it is going to seem amazing, you know? And, you know, they're literally pretty much trying to make you dependent on their energy or on what they're offering you or on this kind of like illusionary mirage type energy. It's definitely not, that pace is not sustainable. That pace is not something that's practical for life, you know? And so it's sometimes as much as, you know, it may feel like, oh, wow, you know, I really want to go all in on this. You know, if something is real, if something is true, if something, you know, the one thing that people who don't deserve your trust can't do is maintain this good energy. They can't. That's just not how they operate. That's just not how they work. And if you are too hard to get, they're going to fall away trying because that's just not, they need that off balance energy in order to be successful at what they're doing. And so when you take things in a measured pace and you take things slow, eventually they will disappear. Eventually they will fall away and you'll spare yourself a lot of injury, suffering in the process. Having boundaries is so important. Making people earn their way into your life is so important. And when I say that, you know, making people, like, I don't want to say that in that way or like make it sound that way, because that isn't the point or the purpose of a boundary. A boundary is, this is where I feel comfortable. And it's not based on, you know, what you're doing, what you're offering, what you're thising, what you're thating. It's based on me. It's based on my pace. It's based on how I feel comfortable, what I think is okay for me right now. You know what I mean? And, you know, because what happens in relationships is that we end up also focusing on the other person so much, like, how are they feeling? Do they like me? How are they da 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 da. And there's a lot of quotes after a breakup of like, how about it's not about, you know, are they coming back? It's like, do I even want them? You know what I mean? It's like where it switches the focus back to you. If you're someone who, when you're getting into relationships, it becomes all about the other person very quickly, definitely go slow. But a boundary, you put it in place to allow things to unfold in a healthy way and to get a much clearer picture of who someone is over the course of time, not just in this moment. It's kind of like, you know, when you move really quickly in relationships, it's sort of like looking at someone's Instagram page and thinking that you know them. It's like you only sort of really know the highlights. You're only touching on the things that they want you to see. They're holding everything else back. You know, they're not showing you that. And when they show you that, that's when you go, oh my gosh, and you feel this thing of rejection and you get all hurt and everything. So this boundaries card and this nourish card are just really saying to me, like, go at this in a healthy way, you know? And this distracted card, you know, it does feel like allowing yourself to go all in on the emotions, all in on the fantasy, all in on you know, looking at all the best parts of it and all the things that you really like about this person and all the things that make it like, oh yeah, you know, this could really be perfect for me, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Listen to yourself when you're describing the situation to your friends, because, you know, you could be kind of rushing in. And when this energy of being distracted, you know, this is something that I don't want to make you guys skeptical or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to do, but I'm actually not trying to do anything. I'm just sitting here reading the cards and telling you the impressions that I'm getting. But people like to distract you. I mean, and I hate to keep talking about narcissists. Like, I really don't want to talk about narcissists all the time, but narcissists do distract you. And that's their point. They want to distract you from your own limitlessness. They want to distract you and kind of keep you playing the role that they want you to play. And they don't want you to remember that you're a whole autonomous person that can make decisions and can make a decision to walk away from them, you know, and can make a decision to like go and explore your greatness, you know. They don't want you to see it. They don't want you to realize it, so they'll keep you distracted. And a lot of times they do that by creating delays, by changing things up, by, you know, having another priority, by being like, oh no, I really want to focus on this, or I really miss you, I really want to see you, but like right now work's just crazy, or I can't commit at this moment because, you know, I'm still getting divorced, or you know what I mean? That's a lot of that. And so it's like, I just feel with this distracted energy, there's this, like, make sure you're seeing the whole thing before you just go rushing into the to the deep end or the deep feelings here. I don't feel like this is like you should be worried about who's coming into your life. I feel like this is just spirit reminding you of the things that you have learned from the past. You have conflicted, abandoned, distance, perspective, and then you have this shocking card coming out on this opportunity. And I feel like, you know, sometimes when opportunity strikes, we have this moment of panic of, wait, is this the right time? Wait, is this the right person? Wait, like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Like, you know what I mean? And sometimes it can even bring up, you know, core wounding that we have, a fear of abandonment, stuff like that. You know, with the distance card, this can also be someone who was very conflicted when you dated them. This can be a past person coming back. I'm definitely getting that. They may have been, you know, kind of conflicted in the past, and they may have abandoned the entire situation. They may have also put distance between you, or you may also be at a distance, or like need to like physically travel to see one another. This can also be where they may have even like blocked communication at some point. Or maybe you did. It may be that space was really what this person needed, and they may be coming back out of the blue to be like, I really had an opportunity to think this through. I'm really seeing a different perspective now. It's like, I feel like with this card with all the clouds in it, it's like I just like I was overwhelmed. I couldn't even see what was important to think about or important to consider. I just felt like I was sort of going in this direction, like that tree, and that I needed to just stay in that direction. I didn't really think about any option there. But it may be where this person, when you left them or when you last spoke to them or you last saw them, it felt like they were deeply rooted in their point of view or in the decision that they had made to abandon this situation. But I think maybe they're coming through to say that they were a lot more conflicted than they kind of let you know, even at the time. And that they were very confused, and that now that they've had this time, they are seeing things a little bit differently. It may be something that you really never expected this person to come around and say. With the only you on the bottom of the deck, it's like, I honestly feel like there is this feeling of, like, also for some of you, this may be someone who recently broke up or was broken up with, and like they may have been in a situation where they were putting a lot of distance between themselves and that heartbreak, or themselves and that person, because this could be a new person as well. There's a whole bunch of scenarios that I'm getting from this, and so just sort of, I feel like, listen to your own intuitive impression. But you know, this is someone who, it's like you may have said something, or you may have burst into their life in a way that they were not expecting, and it may have really changed their perspective on the past, or it may have been just what they needed to kind of be able to really release the past, or you kind of finish that cycle or let that cycle go. And I feel like there is almost this sense of gratitude to you, of almost this sense of like, you know, that was something that was really hard for me to, like, a space that was hard for this person to really move through or really come to a place of peace with. But it is like in meeting you, or it can even be like in something that you said, or in some time that you spent together, or even just, it's like, I sort of get the feeling of someone who, it's like in their past relationship was sort of walking on eggshells, or it never really feels settled. It never really felt settled, or it never really felt totally safe, or it never felt totally calm. And then it's like they're spending time with you, and this may even be like as a friend or as a coworker or in some other capacity. And the feeling that they have when they're around you or when they're with you is sort of like easing. It's almost like confirmation that relationships don't have to be the way that that relationship was, and that maybe that really wasn't healthy, and that maybe that really was a blessing, and that maybe that really did happen for a reason the way that it happened. And that, you know, it's almost kind of made them be like, yeah, you are what I was looking for the whole time. You are what I want. You are what I need kind of energy. It's like they're shifting a focus onto you of just kind of like, yeah, this is what I wanted all along. This is what makes my soul feel peace. This is I feel just this energy of that. I don't think this person thought they were going to find a new perspective on a past situation in a new situation. I don't think they were looking for that. I don't think they were trying to replace something with something else at all. And it doesn't feel that way. It literally feels like just like you being who you are has sort of given this person the perspective. It almost feels like, yeah, see, I was right all along. Like, they may have been with someone who was a bit of a gaslighter. This could also be you, and this could also be an evolution of your own thought when it comes to this person. But you know, somebody who was saying, well, it wouldn't be like that, you know, or I wouldn't talk to so many other people, or it wouldn't be that way, or whatever, if you weren't like this, or, you know, if you hadn't have done this, or if you hadn't have said that, or if you hadn't have triggered me there, you know, like always sort of bringing the fault or the blame or the focus back to this person, and this person going, okay, I'm sorry, I'll do better. And then thinking that person thinking that it was within their control to do better, and that somehow something would change, and nothing ever changed, because that's just not, we're not all going for the same thing in relationships. And it's like meeting this person, either them meeting you or you meeting them, or maybe both of you meeting each other. It's like, wait, hold on a second. It really can be calm. It really can be peaceful. It really can be healthy. A source of support. A source of stability. Wow. You have resistance, and then you have hoping and chemistry and twin flames. Okay, resistance is it's anything we have within us, like, let's say some kind of fear is triggered. You're in a new relationship, everything is going really well, and some kind of fear is triggered, and you're like, oh no. I am not going to let this fear come up from my past and self-sabotage this relationship. No. Well, what you do when you handle it that way is you create resistance. You actually are kind of giving more energy to the energy of fear than you are taking away from it. In order to take energy away from it, which is what you need to do in order to like avoid the self-sabotaging of it all, is you need to be willing to sit in the discomfort and relax. And you need to, and like, okay, I don't like saying you need to and whatever. This is my experience. This is a hard thing to do. It's one of the hardest things to do, but when you're truly living a very spiritual life, like this is, in my opinion, from what I've learned, the classes I've taken, the experiences I've had, this is sort of like the highest evolution that I have ever come to myself personally, dealing with discomfort of feelings, is feeling the discomfort of it and then sitting with it and breathing and not trying to resist it and not saying no to it and not really engaging with it other than to explore it, to investigate, to find out more about it. Because my goal isn't to suppress it, push it down, or keep it from affecting me. My goal is to release it. My goal is to let it go. And when you find an area of resistance, it's actually like a huge gift. It really is, because it's giving you the opportunity to let it go. And so you kind of can sit with it. You can recognize the discomfort of it. You can remember that, you know, you're observing it, you're safe from it, and kind of breathe through it. It's really kind of hard, but staying focused on just, you know, you can ask, you know, where is this coming from? Like, you know, why am I feeling this? You know, ask all the questions that you want to ask, and then come to a place of peace with it and release it and let it go. And then that you're definitely going some distance to being someone who can't be triggered by that again. It may not happen right away, like you may have to do that a few times, right? But eventually it does get easier, or it does sort of almost even like you start just doing that automatically. But with this hoping and this chemistry and this twin flames energy, it really feels like Pisces, like you're standing on the precipice of something that is really exciting. Something where it's like you're really drawn to it, you're really looking at it and seeing all the potential happiness that kind of exists within it. And with the twin flame energy, it's like you're with someone who is also feeling and seeing the same thing. Throughout this reading, there is this little thread of let's not forget we are wounded, or let's not forget we're coming to the table with some baggage. Let's not forget that, you know, those things are things that we're still working through. But like, relationships are an opportunity, if they're a good, safe, healthy relationship, to work on it, to let it go, to find these things, see these things, and let them release them, and so that they no longer harm you. They're no longer a vulnerability for you, or a space that can or would lead to self-sabotage. Pisces, I don't know. I feel like this is really beautiful, and this is really good, and this is like a really awesome opportunity in a connection here. That's coming in. I'm going to do a full moon reading tomorrow, and I can't wait. We'll see how the full moon is going to affect Pisces. But this is what I have for you today. If you're dealing with a water sign, thank you for your beautiful presence in my life. Everything you've ever said to me, I've taken to heart. Your beauty and grace captivates me. If you're dealing with a fire sign, you are always safe with me. I still have so much to accomplish before I can be what you deserve. I love your sense of humor. I know who you are to me. And if you're dealing with an earth sign, can you handle all my scars? Your name is following me everywhere. You are my favorite work of art. And if you are dealing with an air sign, you're like my long lost best friend. You're the only one who understands me at such a deep level, and you are my star who outshines all others. Pisces, this is what I have for you. I hope it helps. I hope it brings you some peace and clarity. It looks like you got love coming in. And a very normal, natural, positive, healthy kind of love. All right, this is what I have. Until next time, guys, all my best. Always, always. Bye-bye.